The house on Morrow Lane had stood empty for decades, its windows dark and its paint peeling like dead skin. Locals whispered that it wasn't just abandoned, it was waiting. When I moved in, I laughed off the stories. Cheap rent was hard to come by, and I wasn't about to let superstition scare me away. The first night I heard it, a faint tapping from the walls. Not pipes settling or mice scurrying, just a deliberate tap 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 like fingernails on wood. I searched every room, flashlight trembling in my hand, but found nothing. The sound stopped when I went to bed, and I convinced myself it was just exhaustion playing tricks. The next night, the tapping returned. Louder, closer. It came from the ceiling now, right above my bed. I lay there, staring at the cracked plaster, my breath shallow. Then I saw it, a bulge forming, as if something was pressing down from the attic. I bolted upright, grabbed my flashlight, and climbed the rickety ladder to the trap door. The attic was empty, just dust and cobwebs, but the air felt thick like it was watching me. By the third night I couldn't sleep. The tapping was everywhere. Walls, floors, windows, like a dozen hands testing the house's edges. I called a friend to stay over, hoping company would ground me. She arrived, skeptical but kind, and we sat in the living room, laughing nervously to drown out the silence. Then the lights flickered, and the tapping stopped. For a moment, I thought it was over. That's when the whispering started. It wasn't words, not at first, just a low, guttural hum slithering from the shadows. My friend's face went pale. She heard it too. The hum grew into syllables, a chorus of voices overlapping, too faint to understand but too clear to ignore. They seemed to come from inside the walls, beneath the floor, behind my skull. I grabbed her arm, and we stumbled toward the door, but it wouldn't budge. The knob turned, the hinges creaked, but something held it shut. The voices sharpened. "Stay!" they hissed, over and over, until the word burrowed into my bones. My friend screamed, clawing at the door, her nails leaving bloody streaks on the wood. I tried to pull her back, but the floorboards buckled beneath us, splitting apart like snapping jaws. A cold, damp hand brushed my ankle, then gripped it. I kicked free, dragging her with me, and we ran for the window. Glass shattered as we threw ourselves through, landing hard on the overgrown lawn. We didn't stop running until we reached town, bloodied and breathless. When I looked back, the house sat silent, its broken window gaping like an eye. The police went later, found nothing. No voices, no hands, just an empty house. They said we'd imagined it, that stress and old wiring explained everything. But I know what I felt, and last night, miles away in a new apartment, I woke to a familiar sound, tap, 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 faint but growing, coming from the walls.